Today I got a couple of video got for you guys. Um, we're gonna be looking at how everything that Gen Z does. I feel like we end up getting some kind of blame or some kind of you know how should I put it, neglect to what the current circumstances are that we're presented with, right? Like we're talking about technology moving at an exceptional pace, um, social media tearing apart relationships, causing for parasocial relationships, as well as, just overall community being kind of stripped away and a big focus on consumerism and um, financial gain, right? And I stumbled across a couple of videos where it talks about Gen Z's relationships, how they're feeling, about the culture and society today, and how they feel like it's working against them. I definitely want to know what you guys think. This is gonna be the first video. It's going to be Gen Z is finally giving up. Suburban will. This is my first time watching one of his videos, so let's see how this goes. Let's do this. Make sure desktop audio is on. Let me just check the volume.
I was talking to my mom about the new Superman movie that came out this year. I was telling her how I really enjoyed.
Let's pause this real quick. Let's just get the music a little bit lower. Okay. And then get this up.
Enjoyed it and how it made me feel inspired and hopeful about the future. And her response to this was, "Your generation is always trying to feel inspired by something." And well, yeah, we are. It's not just the older people anymore. Even other members of Gen Z are genuinely starting to believe that our generation is hopeless. Or to put it simply, we're cooked, chat. Being a young adult right now is waking up every day with the entire world telling you that you just aren't good enough. You're too young to lead, you're too lazy to work, and you're too stupid to have an opinion. Since I've started making these videos on my experiences as a Gen Z adult, I've come to realize that one of the biggest issues with our generation is that we've been abandoned by those who came before us. And I'm not here to be another.
That's a fact. I definitely do think that training the younger generation in order for them to be in a position to actually succeed is completely gone. And I think that's where it really comes back to like that community mindset. Everybody is always worried about themselves right now and trying to push to get that next dollar, that next bill so that they can go on that next trip, buy that next property. And it causes for that mindset in upper leadership to not translate down into lower level, like the lower levels of the company, because what ends up happening is you have these technologies that you can push to train your staff, and allow for them to just watch these videos on whatever training that you're trying to accomplish or um, provide for those entry level positions. They start to become less and less engaged within that community, and you just feel completely abandoned. Figure it out yourself. And even for you to get into that position, you have to have some kind of obviously education is important, but you have to have some kind of work, years of experience on your resume before you can get an entry level position. Like, what do you mean I need years of experience? Is this not supposed to be entry level? Like, am I not supposed to be able to get in from college, from, another job that I had done, maybe when I was in high school or the beginning of college? Like, what, what are we really talking about here? Entry level jobs requiring 3 years of experience. You're like, oh, all right. I mean, I guess.
Young person blaming old people for all of my problems. But a lot of older people feel no responsibility to leave the door open for us. And honestly, often make it a point to shut it behind them to make it harder for us to get in. There's no follow in my footsteps. It feels more like good luck, loser, as we watch the world price us out of earning anything meaningful in our lives. From the perspective of a Gen Z guy, it's brutal. We're faced with struggles in all directions, from our mental health, to our careers, to dating, and everything in between. While many older men constantly look down upon us and call us weak for it, but they never offer any sort of guidance. And the few that do only seem interested in making the problem even worse. They'll have you walking around looking like a podcaster. Shirt tight, pants even tighter, Chelsea boots on. Here's 10 reasons why you should hate women. Another thing I've noticed with Gen Z.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see how that argument works. Um, I mean, I don't necessarily have that experience firsthand. I think there are ways to find role models within your community, whether it is like, let's say, a coach on, your sports team, whether it is, um, an educator that has reached out to you, whether it's someone in your family. Like, I still believe that there's role models, and maybe not everybody has access to that, but I still think there's ways to find certain role models and key influences that can kind of give you that inspiration to say, like, it's not the end of the world. It's a matter of looking in the right places. Like at this point, it's not going to be a kumbaya experience. Social media has torn that apart, I think, and the internet has done that, but connected us in different ways. So if you have to rely not necessarily on podcast bros, but just different people that you see and different ideas that you see on the internet in order to just gain more knowledge about the world, about experiences, I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. you know, you obviously have to take a lot of these things with a grain of salt because some people take it to the extremes for entertainment purposes. But, I don't see anything wrong with going and looking up stuff on the internet, getting a whole bunch of different viewpoints. And there are professionals, and I do think on a lot of these platforms that you can say, okay, like this is someone that clearly has a degree, clearly has a particular mindset on a certain topic and is very knowledgeable about it. So why don't I just learn from that and then get inspired in different ways? So
Is
I'm
that a
not gonna
lot
say
of
the
us seem to
podcast
be
bros are
lamenting our youth,
100%
likely
like
because many of us feel robbed of it.
criminal.
No one feels like they're running out of time more than an 18-year-old with their entire life ahead of them. It feels like you're forever playing catch up in a world that keeps changing the rules. So now there's teenagers and young adults thinking they've already wasted their lives when the only thing they ever did was be a kid doing kid things. Just a beer, please. Thanks. You seem a bit young to be drinking your sorrows away on a Tuesday night. That's more of an older guy thing. Yeah, well, my life is already over anyway. I've wasted my entire youth doing nothing. How so? I'm already 22 years old. I practically have one foot in the grave already. I knew I should have been investing in stocks and buying properties when I was 13 instead of playing Xbox and doing homework. Son, you're 22. You haven't wasted your youth. You're still in it. Give me that. You shouldn't be drinking your sorrows away in a dingy bar with an old man like me. You still got your whole life ahead of you. Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't even like beer. How do you guys even drink that stuff? Tastes like life. Bitter. You get used to it. I can't lie, that was kind of tough. It's too late for me. I'm old and washed up now.
Bars.
Before TikTok, back in my day, we had this thing called Vine. Wait, Vine? How old are you? I'm 27. Damn, the world we live in now seems to expect an unrealistic
27.
amount of perfection from young people. And it's causing us to carry around constant feelings of inadequacy because we keep falling short of an ever rising bar. The tide is rising, but the ships are sinking. And it feels like you need to do literally everything right just to have a little success. Just go to college. But looks like you didn't pick the right major at 18 for the job.
And I definitely feel like this whole notion of getting two jobs in order to even be relatively successful at this point, like it's like, geez, bro. Like people could have just done their job, invested their money, maybe did like a small little side hustle here and there to get a little extra cash, and they were chilling. Invested their money a little bit, saved it up, got a little cash on the side. Good, you're chilling. Now you have to have two damn near full time professions trying to make bread in order to keep your head above water, and potentially have like, whatever the American dream was supposed to be, potential house, just to have a family to live in. You start making all those calculations in terms of how much everything is gonna be, and you're just like, brother, What are we doing? This is getting crazy.
Job market at 22. Okay, well, just go get an internship. Oh, you were expecting to be paid for your work? Sorry, we don't do that here. All
We
right,
don't do
just
that
get an
here.
entry level job and work your way up the old fashioned way. Wait, you don't have 10 years of experience at 22? Get the out of my face. The goalpost keeps moving further and further back. While some generations only needed to make a layup and others needed a free throw, being Gen Z feels like standing at half court, while the crowd laughs at you for missing that shot. Even the traditional paths don't offer a good chance at success anymore. So it's not a secret why more of our generation is just opting to pursue what they actually care about instead of grinding for nothing. The job market is so bad that
Very
following
true.
your dreams sounds like the better option.
Very true.
Yo, bro, I appreciate you scooping me after work today. Yeah, bro, no problem. I just came back from the studio. Oh, you're still trying to do music? Yeah, bro, I might as well. I can't seem
Might
to
as
pin down
well.
anything long term for. Wait, bro, do you hear that? Yeah, is that somebody singing? Wow. Why are you screaming? I don't know. I just thought that's what we were doing. Yo, I didn't know you sing. That was really good. Oh, yeah, I do. Sometimes. I don't really tell anybody. My parents say it's kind of pointless since I'll never make any money from it. Who cares? If you have the passion, you never know where it can take you. Yeah, I guess that's true. You know, I make music too. Maybe we could collab sometime. Oh, yeah, that would be cool. I'll check you out. Yeah, I'll send it over right now. Let me know what you think. As someone who has the
Two
rare
completely
combination of
different.
being a content creator who also has a job, it feels like I spent a lot of my time between worlds. And I remember seeing this post that sums it up best. I've tasted unemployment and I've tasted 9 to 5. I recommend not being born. Even the process of looking for a job can be annoying, since you just have to accept the fact that these companies sell your information to scammers who will blow your phone up on a daily basis. But that's
100%.
only where it begins. Once you start a new job, you quickly realize why the job market is so dysfunctional. Not only do companies not want to hire young people looking for experience, but they don't even want to train them either. So many places are downsizing their human-led training teams and replacing them with cheap AI programs that you have to mindlessly sit through instead. No one to ask follow-up questions to, no one to introduce you to the work environment, just you and a PowerPoint slide being read back to you by an AI. I saw a report that said 66% of hiring managers say their new hires are not fully prepared for their roles due to a
Duh, they're not prepared. Like, you have to understand, some of these people, even when they were in school, for them to sit through a PowerPoint slide presentation just read back to them, like, that's going to put people to sleep. I'm not remembering any of that. And most of the time, the requirements in order for you to pass most of those trainings are like literally nothing. Like, you may have to remember one or two things in order for you to pass it, but what incentive do I have to remember it? It's like school. You try and do it, you remember it, you sit through it, and at the end of the day, if you're just getting stuff regurgitated to you, it's not going to just magically get ingrained into your head. Not everybody's able to have it just click like that with someone just speaking to them with slides and pictures moving all over the screen. Half the time, your brain is just like so fried from all the trainings. You're like, all right, I don't know if I could be doing this for 8 hours. Just sitting in these trainings for 8 hours. Like, come on, guys. That's what we're doing.
lack of experience. Huh. Who could have guessed that replacing real training and professional development with AI isn't very effective at creating competent employees? But what do I know? I'm Gen Z. Everyone thinks I'm stupid. I just think it's a bit
True.
counterproductive when companies constantly have to spend time retraining everyone every few weeks. Good morning, team. We've noticed some gaps in our employee training, so we're rolling out a new AI training module that you'll need to complete by the end of the day. Will
AI
this training
training
address any
module.
of our concerns that we've been bringing to you for weeks? That's a great question. No. It'll just reteach what you already know while also making it even more confusing. Doesn't this sound like a big waste of time and resources? You know, that's a really good point. But we spent all of the money we could have used to train and pay you better on this new AI system that only makes your job harder. This seems like really poor decision making. Let's put a pin in that for now. We're gonna give you guys 5 minutes back to get a head start on that training, and we'll touch base at the end of the day. The game keeps changing for us, and you aren't even rewarded for your hard work anymore. Life has always been unfair at times, but at this point, it feels like it's cheating. At one job I had, it was so annoying coming in every morning to see an encouraging morning message from my manager that was obviously written by ChatGPT. Like, you can't even find it within your real human heart to say something nice to us in the morning. You have to resort to AI for that too. I think it's a bit
That's a
stressful
little
to watch
crazy.
AI
That's a little
gradually
crazy.
infiltrate every part of our lives. You know it's bad when Gen Z, the online generation, starts complaining about too much technology. So
Right.
many people were worried about Gen Z abusing AI to cheat their way through college. But what's even worse is that there are already doctors, CEOs, and governments admitting to using AI to make decisions that could potentially ruin your life. Cheating in
That's
school is
crazy.
wrong, but Gen Z isn't the first generation to cheat on a test. ChatGPT telling your doctor that you're lactose intolerant when you have a heart condition, I think, is much worse. Old people love AI. They have no issue sitting in front of a screen, looking at AI generated content, ironing out the creases in their brain in real time. Our generation knows better, but we still have our issues with AI too. There are people that's high key plus genuinely, using LLMs like ChatGPT and Grok as a therapist. And it's pretty easy to tweak your prompts over and over until it just starts agreeing with everything you say. And
Well, that sounds good. Like, I think this is what starts to make people like not be able to tolerate certain things that go on that may be offensive or may not be necessarily the most kind and soft and, you know, non consequential situation. Because whenever you're speaking to an AI bot, like, it automatically is going to curate answers that's going to generally encourage you. Because what ends up happening is if it doesn't do that, right, and it provides true harsh criticism to a certain degree, there's still probably a liability component for ChatGPT for individuals that may cause, so, like, at the end of the day, it's more or less more in their favor to encourage you and to allow you to not feel the effects of your consequences, or try and tell you that you're wrong in what you're doing and giving you the hard truth unless you curate it that way. And if someone is going to it to inspire them, encourage them, and leverage that technology, it can easily manipulate your mind into saying, oh my gosh, this is so bad for you. This is something that you should be running away from. Like, honestly, this person completely offended you when all they said is like, honestly, I don't really like your tie. And ChatGPT is now telling you, yo, that person really just dissed you, bro. Like, he's bugging all the way out. Honestly, you might have to punch it. Like, no, that's not what ChatGPT is going to say, but it's going to reinforce the idea that, like, you feel like you got disrespected. And that programming starts to play a factor when it comes to, different ideologies, different views. And the more and more people are addicted to technology and relying on ChatGPT to do everything for them,
I think this is
the more
already
it takes
starting
over
to put a
brain.
strain on some of our ability to maintain relationships. Okay, so low key plus genuinely, low genuinely. Okay, now low key plus genuinely plus flow state, flow genuinely. Now let's add some 6-7 and some bit. What do you want? Listen, I know I cheated on you, but I've been doing some reflecting, so I've come over here for an apology.
Yeah, that
Okay.
knock caught me
All right,
lacking. I was
go
like,
ahead.
yo, somebody knocking on my
Apologize
door
to
right
me.
now?
What? Why would I apologize to you? Well, I asked ChatGPT, and it said that it's actually your fault that I cheated because you didn't love me enough.
You see?
So are you gonna say sorry or what? I knew she was toxic. Sometimes it feels like the entire world is falling apart right in front of you and you're completely powerless to change it. Nothing you do matters. No matter how hard you work, how much you vote, or how hard you try. The rich will only get richer while we argue and fight over what's left. As an American YouTuber,
Very true.
obviously, I can only comment from my perspective. But thanks to you guys watching my videos all around the world, I've learned that despite our experiences, all of us feel a need to just get away from it sometimes.
Yeah, and I definitely do think that having spaces like YouTube, having video games, having sources of entertainment, anime, um, just different avenues to release that, being outside, playing sports, stuff like that. I think it brings you back and makes you realize, like, you know what, it's not all terrible. At the end of the day, I'm still moving, I'm still breathing, I'm still kicking. I still have a chance to do something great. And I think that's what needs to motivate Gen Z. It's not about what's in front of you, it's not about all the trials, tribulations that can be ahead of you in the future, who you're going to be in the future, what millions are you going to try and make in the future. Because at the end of the day, if you keep worrying about the future, if you keep worrying about what is going to happen tomorrow, you'll never understand what's happening today, right? And in order to stay grounded in that, you have to find your avenues, whether it's the gym, whether it's video games, whether it's anime, whether it's cooking, sewing, whatever, music, whatever it is, YouTube, whatever it is. Ensure that you find something that you can ground yourself with, because at the end of the day, after all the chaos, all the noise, all the BS that goes on in this world, you have to find something that's going to allow you to be grounded, that's going to push you to do more, but still allow you to express yourself and feel like yourself. And this video definitely something that I think can open your eyes to the issues, but I don't think you should use it as an avenue to um, look at the world as like everything is working against you. I think it's something that you see and say, you know what, like, let me think about what other opportunities and things that I can bring into the world that keep me motivated, keep me grounded, and keep me pushing through all this mess. So that's the first video. You guys definitely should check out the rest of the video. It's actually very good. Um, definitely, I might actually finish it. Should I finish it? We do got a little bit of time. There's also some other videos that I want to watch as well and related to these topics and how Gen Z has been feeling in terms of just overall relationships, interacting with each other. And right now, I do think with online dating, with all the gender dynamic conversations, all of the um, gender wars that's happening, everyone's so confused as to what is going on. And I think this video talks about Gen Z's take on the birth rate, relationships, having children, having a family, and the components that play a factor in actually going into a relationship. Now you have men on one side saying that, it's not worth it to be in a relationship. Um, Marriage is a scam. Uh, these women are not for us. They hate us, all this stuff. And you have the woman out here saying that the men um, are malicious, they're violent, they don't know what they're talking about, confused. More or less just saying that men are the enemy. Anything that a man can do, a woman can do better, right? There's no need for them. They're just a headache waiting to happen. And in this video, it talks about why the declining birth rate is none of Gen Z's business. And I think having a culmination of both sides leads to um, the birth rate decline, but also the societal pressures that were seen in the previous video, where you're like, yo, just trying to get a job is literally impossible. Literally impossible. So let's get into it. Oh, no! No! What kind of stuff is going on here? Oh, okay, it was right. Okay, 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 okay.
In the June 2025 presidential election, roughly 3 in 4 young men voted conservative. About 3 in 5 young women voted progressive.
I don't think this
That's
is right.
nearly a 40-point gap, likely one of the widest gender voting splits on record.
This is not right.
The reason the U.S. birth rate is at an all-time low is because
Anyways.
feminism lied to women and told them that having babies is bad.
Well, actually, no. Wait, what?
The reason the U.S. birth rate is at an all-time low is because feminism lied to women and told them that having babies is bad, that babies themselves are a burden. But without God, we worship a false idol. It's usually materialism or worship of self.
No one's having kids. Do you know how hard you need to abuse a mammal to make them not have children?
It costs £46.62 to stand outside and do nothing on a good day.
People our age can barely afford to live for themselves.
I can't pay my rent.
Having a child in this economy literally means you get a box of diapers and one bag for $185.
I don't want to have kids because I feel like I can't provide the life that my parents gave me.
The top 10% drive nearly half of consumer spending. Meanwhile, households are dealing with rising rent and record credit card debt, layoffs, and barely keeping up with the cost of living.
So thinking about bringing a child into that, where it's like, yeah, hey kid, welcome to the world. Don't know what to tell you. Hope it works out for you.
Welcome to the year
Basically.
2060, where the impacts of Gen Z's resistance to parenthood are starting to unfold. Job postings sit stagnant for months, hospitals and care homes are overflowing with patients, and social programs, pensions, and public services that rely on a steady stream of workers and taxpayers are under pressure. All because the up-and-coming generation is too small to support the workforce. Essentially, Gen Z's choice to go child-free wasn't just them keeping their peace. No, they inevitably reshaped the capacity of society itself, putting our countries at risk of total collapse. At least, that's what the headlines are saying. Between Elon Musk calling it one of the biggest risks to civilization, and Fox News crying out that this isn't just a lifestyle choice by Gen Z, it's a looming demographic crisis for the country, and a crisis of Gen X parents awaiting grandkids. Priorities, I guess. Anyway, let me tell you, something about all this feels very fishy. Like, you're telling me that it comes down to this one generation to repopulate, otherwise we're all screwed? I mean, between the tech advancements we're seeing and the often overlooked benefits of a smaller population, it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal that they aren't having kids. And listen, if you don't already know, I am a mother of 2 little boys and a big advocate for having kids. They are my pride and joy, as cheesy as it is. That doesn't mean that everyone should have them, especially in today's day and age. Like, you're actually telling people to bring kids into the same world as the Epstein files? Bold choice. But that's what we're going to dissect today, not the Epstein files, dear God.
How many people are scared? Me too.
But why Gen Z is going child-free, the benefits society may gain because of it, and why it might not matter either way. So the spark for this video came about because I keep hearing people online spreading this narrative that Gen Z is selfish for not having kids, even with everything that's going on in the world. But it is true that roughly 39% of Gen Z said that they had delayed having a child because of the current economic climate, while only 36% of millennials said the same.
Well, honey, with the bonus I made this year, looks like we got a good head start in our kids' college fund. Future is bright.
Hey chat, how far away from a nuclear bomb do you have to be to survive the blast radius?
Hey, that's a serious one.
To lay the groundwork for this, let's go through all the hurdles Gen Z has to jump through to even consider parenthood. For one, we have to mention housing, of course.
This 2-bed, 1-bath house has insane aura. What do you do for work?
I make AI brain rot YouTube shorts.
Does that pay good?
Which I realize we did just talk about a couple videos.
Listen, honestly, I'm gonna stop it here, but I do think that in the housing crisis, I might play this first half of the video, but I did not want to repeat everything in this video. So I will say this for Gen Z and what I think the mindset has to be going into, just like, as I said previously, going into life is that we just gotta be in the present moment, gotta live it day by day. Because at the end of the day, there'll always be headlines, there'll always be something new that is popping up on your Instagram feed, on your Twitter feed, in YouTube that's going to tell you like, yo, it's all over, it's all over, it's finished, it's finished. Um, but at the end of the day, I do think that the that Gen Z as a whole probably has some of the most opportunities. Like we have the highest chance of opportunities to become successful, and then we also have like the greater depths to be very much unsuccessful because of all of like the things that you're forced to do growing up as Gen Z, going to college, getting in this much debt, plus trying to get a house, plus trying to keep up with the consumerism and social media, plus trying to even just find a job in the first place in order to, be in that position. And these all these extra factors that are compounded on a Gen Z that I completely understand, being in Gen Z. But I do think it's probably a day by day, man. That's all we gotta do, day by day, and we'll get through it. We'll get through it.